Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I'm your most favorite manifestation coach under the sun. Reason why? Because there's no such coaching program like my coaching program, which I designed from scratch during the 8 years of me being a coach, 7 years off of YouTube, and 1.5 years now, almost 1.5 years. On YouTube, coaching all people, all sorts of people of all walks of life. I coach in audio exchange, Zoom session, telephone sessions. All information from me is below, and I require that you spend at least 2 to 3 months in coaching with me, which is the time that is necessary for me to cover the coaching program that I have designed that will be revolutionary for your life. If you take it to heart, if you come prepared to work, if you take my suggestions, and if you understand that if you do this right correctly one time, you will never need another coach again. My coaching program is very thorough. It's dedicated in the beginning to your history. Then we go through certain processes of belief work, which is very central to my coaching and very important. And then and only then do I teach you about manifestation. This is an all-encompassing program. And again, you will never need another coaching program or another coach after this. You will walk away knowing exactly what you need to do for the rest of your life, even if you fall off of the proverbial wagon. Once in a while, it happens. You will get back on the wagon really, really quickly because you will have all the tools that you will learn in my coaching of what to do. I also have a speed course for a month for those of you who are really advanced already in the manifestation game and who are quite frankly impatient. And this is a very intense program. You will have to show up 4 times a week to do the work with me. Normally, it's 2 to 3 times per week. Okay, in my usual coaching packages, which does not exist on the internet still, okay? But in this particular course, the speed course requires for you to dedicate time to your coaching 4 times a week, okay? And in between, you have access to me via text, emails. If anything comes up, you can send me an audio that has to be 5 minutes max, okay? The best idea is to pre-book me, meaning to pay and to sign the coaching agreement and send it to me, send it via email and tell me about your objectives in coaching. Reason why is because I'm always being booked. And for you to be next in line to come into my coaching, because I always have a rotation, people are leaving, people are coming in, you need to be ready to rock and roll to come into my coaching. And I really need to know that you're committed to this work, okay? Chances are you've listened to more than one of my audios on my channel, which I encourage you, nearly 300 of them. You understand my personality and you gravitate towards it, okay? There are many, many different coaches out there on the internet. The idea is to choose one that resonates with you. Okay. And also I hear all sorts of nightmarish stories from my clients about other coaches on the internet that kind of sort of look legitimate and even certified and all have all these subscribers and la. And it's still, the experience is less than, let's just say desirable. Listen, I sympathize with all of this. The thing is, right? The thing with me is I'm not those kinds of coaches, okay? I'm a wide open book. Everything you need to know, you know my entire history. I've recorded my story for that very reason. I do this in order to help as many people as I can, okay? I feel like a lot of coaches out there are motivated by money alone. I really am not. This is why I'm so generous with my time. I should be charging a lot more money for my coaching, for the amount of time I spend with each and every single client in my coaching. I don't, okay? I could, but I don't. And frankly, that's basically the difference between a coach who really cares about people and who's just doing it for the money. So while I sympathize, if you're coming into coaching with me, understand, then, it's kind of like, well, when you're meeting the right guy or girl and you're still bringing up your loser exes, I sympathize, but I don't care. I do things my way. I do them the right way, okay? And I am that right right guy who you really need to embark on the journey with all in. Okay, you really need to show up being prepared to work and being all in. The subject of today is there is no fictional story about your SP, in parentheses. Why in parentheses? Because it could be anything. It could be about your money, about your career, about your life in general, about anything. Okay, there is no fiction. Obviously, that's borrowed from Neville Goddard. There is no fiction. There is no such thing as fiction. And so be careful what you wish for, in essence. If you want to start experiencing something new, okay, understand that it is completely within your power. I taught myself scripting when I was 12. Merely because I was a very shy kid, and I would lock myself in my room and I would write stories about what I would want to experience instead. Okay, I would say that this guy in school really likes me, and I'm traveling the world, and I'm doing this, that, and the other, and I'm writing songs, and today all of this is true. It is true. I'm no longer shy, by the way. I also wanted to shed that. I'm not shy. I'm very, very confident. And that took some work, but it begins with a story. So chances are right now, you're not living that story that you want to experience, right? The most important thing to understand is that the story that you're writing has to be saturated with the feeling of living it in the present time. Even though you're not observing it right now, there's nothing to tell you that what you're writing is true. You really need to be able to travel to that parallel reality with feeling and suspend your disbelief just for the time being. Just play and pretend for the time being in an easy way. In a not forceful way. Don't try to convince yourself of anything yet, okay? I wouldn't want to try to force it in. That's not even how I coach. But just play and pretend and start writing down things that you would want to experience, okay? It's not anticipation. It's not it's coming. It is I'm living it now, okay? So when you're watching a movie and you're observing these characters and the plot twist and this, that, and the other, do you question that what is happening on screen is actually happening? No, you dive into the story and you're fully buying into everything, and you emotions come up, tears, maybe laughter, etc., suspense, all of these things, okay? So in the same manner, you can create any fucking story that you want, all right, in your life just by being lighthearted about it. Okay, trying to convince yourself, saying 10,000 fucking affirmations is lunacy, never work, never will work. Okay, it's better that you're lighthearted about it and you say, wouldn't it be wonderful if, wow, that would be so amazing if, and put yourself in the shoes of this person experiencing this reality right now. And so it becomes that you're communicating with that reality in the present moment. Right? Thus downloading the components of it so they become visible to you. Downloading all that information that you see and you feel in that reality. That would be wonderful if I received $1 million out of the blue. That would be wonderful if my SP proposed to me all of a sudden. Parenthesis here, you're creating it, but okay, just go along. It would be so wonderful if my business took off and skyrocketed. It would be so wonderful to be in coaching with Anna. If you put your objective in the future, it will always be in the future. So don't be like, I'm going to do it later. Later when? Right now. Do it now. Act on it now. You're always waiting for yourself, parenthesis here. No, it's not about you're looking for a sign, and even the signs that you see, the feathers and the rainbows and whatever else you administer importance to, you're creating those signs to reaffirm to yourself, oh yeah, this is how powerful I am. This is how much of a creator of my reality I am. So exercise your power in the bigger ways. Okay, feathers and this and that is all fun and exciting, but I'd like the $1 million. I'd like the proposal and all these other things that quite frankly, all of you guys want, right? And the entire universe is simply waiting on you, waiting for you to step into that reality, into that story. Okay, it has to be that you're living it now in your mind and enjoying it as if it were already here. Deciding on this vibration, this is what it would feel like. I don't need to buy into it that it's happening. I just want to feel what it would be like if it were here. Okay, so it's not so serious. Stop being so, I don't know, stop devising some kind of situation that is too complicated. If it's too complicated, it's usually bullshit, okay? Start being very easygoing about it. Don't complicate things. There are no 10,000 affirmations needed. There's no technique upon a technique. It's about stepping into the world of your preference where what you want is already playing out right now. You don't have to watch it happen and for you to feel it. I'll give you an example. If you remember something from your past, which past, present, and future all coexist, they're all happening right now. If you remember something from your past, excuse me, don't those emotions wash over you? You start either being very excited, very happy, or it's a sad, kind of memory, and this and that. And those emotions are still right here. You can tap into them just in the same manner, just the same. You can create your future, in quotations, with feeling, okay, with feeling. And I've experienced this in my own personal life, and I've in my clients' lives, okay, the same things happen once I taught them how to utilize it. Saturated with the feeling of having it now. What would you feel? How would it feel? Literally, that vibration would create this this story, these events, these people, these characters, this money, this situation, these events that you are so wanting to create. Writing a story is like dipping words or information into the quantum soup. It's like sending out a message, a telepathic message into like, imagine you're a magician, you're like the white witch with a big like boiling pot full of like some, I don't know, whatever they put in it, some magic spell potions. And this represents the quantum soup, okay? The quantum field in which you send out information. Seriously, this is exactly how it works. And so you've put into that quantum soup, that quantum field, information. I want to be living like this. I want my SP to be like this. I want to make this kind of money, and I want to be a completely different person. In fact, in my world to look this way. Be careful what you wish for, because it will definitely come true. And your belief has to be that even the things that I did not prefer in the past, that I quote unquote wished or was afraid of, same thing, you're still sending out an information into the quantum field. If you're afraid of something, if you dread something, if you have insecurities about situations, you're still sending out messages into quantum field. Why not do it on purpose? Okay, you can choose the shitty reality, but you can also you're in complete liberty to also, in this very moment, to choose a fantastic fairy tale. The choice is entirely yours. The choice goes moment to moment to moment to moment. Now, parenthesis here. About abusive people, because some people have written to me. Okay, so in my opinion, people who encounter abusive people, and I've had a couple of them in my own personal life, and like you, I've often wondered, what the fuck, right? So we create our own reality. Now, with the exception of if you were a child, okay? This is the only exception I make. I mean, we can go into situations like soul contracts and this and that, but I'm going to keep it on the earth plane, right? So if you were a child, there's no way that you could have created this consciously, because obviously you were a child. Now, if you were a child and you experienced something, or something happened to you, some kind of abuse happened to you earlier on, or you observed something, or you were mistreated, or some kinds of trauma happened essentially when you were growing up in your formative years, this is why you keep attracting abusive people. Okay, there's the direct correlation. I've done this long enough to know it's infallible. You are attracting certain kinds of people willing to put up with abuse. Okay, you can meet some kind of a person who is out of whack, and you can recognize that this was your vibration that sent out the situation, and thus the manifestation, you don't have to accept it. But some of you have and put up with it. And so for me, abusive people are a lesson to let go of something, to correct something. The belief work and the emotional work is the central piece of my coaching for that very reason. Because as long as you're holding on to certain ideologies, to certain emotions that are unprocessed, you will keep attracting abusive people. And so obviously this has nothing to do with the changing of people. You can change people. Of course, you can change, you can travel to a parallel reality in which they're not abusive anymore, but chances are the damage has already been done to you. And my personal opinion as a coach is that you just need to move on, let go, do the processing, do the work in coaching, somehow do the work, but it does help to have a very focused and driven coach to help you come out of this dysfunction, because chances are you've lived in it for a decade or more, okay? And move on to something healthy. And you will realize looking back that, you may have wanted this person at some point. You may have wanted to work things out, but essentially you were sacrificing your life. You were sacrificing your success. You were sacrificing way too much, and nobody's worth that much. Okay, you shouldn't. A love story is a dance. Okay, a love story is contains respect, mutual admiration, and most importantly, meaning well for one another. If somebody is abusing you, that is not the way to go. That is what you have to let go of, okay? And so back to the topic. What you see around you is the echo of the past. So the things that you have created in the past from your formative years, not knowing that you're reproducing it on automatic pilot, you're just observing the past. The real story, okay, is unfolding in your mind as we speak, which is why ignoring 3D is not only mandatory, but completely logical. In other words, your fairy tale is playing out right now. You already know what you want. Okay, you already know the kind of version of SP you want. You already know the kind of money that you want to make. You already know everything. Okay, but there is always this kind of resistance towards that beautiful world, towards that beautiful fairy tale, towards that perfect world that you would love to live. Why? Again, beliefs. The beliefs, this garbage, the pile of garbage in the living room, the metaphor that I always use, needs to be cleansed, cleaned out, gotten rid of once and for all. Everything needs to be on the table, so to speak. These are my monsters. These are my fears. These are my insecurities. Now that I'm familiar with them, and don't shy away from this work, because as long as you're shying away from this work, it continues. Okay, there's no healing that's going to take place without you doing the work and taking out the garbage that right now is literally maybe suffocating you. Okay, you don't know which way to turn. You don't know which way to start. And SP seems like the number one priority. It's not. You are the number one priority. You need to take care of you. And then SP is going to be automatic. You need to conduct an inventory once and for all of what it is you're believing and why it is that you're wanting all these things and you're seeing other people get them easily, but you cannot because you've got some work to do. The story has already been written. That fairy tale is already playing out. Okay? It's already happening. You just need to tune into yourself to the parallel reality, and you cannot do that by holding on to the past garbage. The end. Your SP didn't go anywhere. Your money didn't go anywhere. It's right here, right now. You just tuned into a different reality. For whatever reason, something happened. You got triggered. You got insecure. Usually the old stuff comes up when, either you reach a high or, you're very happy and the old stuff comes up for you to process it. Am I right? Yes, it happens all the time. Maybe you were doing very well in your business, maybe very well in your relationship, and the old fears, the old monsters came showing up and it all went away somehow. Am I right? Yes, I am. Again, been doing this long enough. So you tuned into a different reality based on whatever you have yet to process. So nothing really went wrong. In fact, it serves you to revalue everything and to clean it out once and for all. And so just as you tune in into a different reality in which you don't have your SP, you don't have your money, your business is not doing so great, labadoo, you can also tune into the new reality, even better than you used to experience before, when you had your SP, when you had your career, when you had your business, where they are here and they always will be here, the way you want them to be. That reality exists right here, right now. Okay? So you cannot come up with a story. This is why there is no fiction that doesn't exist already. The ultimate story is playing out right here, right now. The only one who's not aboard on that ship, so to speak, is you. You're the remote control that switches the realities, your feelings, your ideas, your beliefs, your ideology, the things that you choose to entertain day in and day out, the kinds of words you choose, by the way, okay? Very important. The kinds of thoughts that you're thinking, the kinds of stories that you tell yourself, about your SP, and about just about everything else, about money and about health, about losing weight, and you name just about anything at all. Those stories are, like I said, dipped into the soup of the quantum field, and they're accepted as orders. And who on earth is going to argue with you, because you're the god of your reality. You're the number one, you're the number one commander in your reality. You're the CEO of your reality. Who the fuck's going to argue with you? Everything is accepted. So just like I said, you created this piece of shit story, maybe right now that you're living. Okay, fine, examine it. Like artwork. Well, this was a fucking mistake. This was a piece of shit, something art wannabe. Now I'm really going to town to create something. But the artist themselves has to have a little bit of a makeover, a lot in some cases, in order to be able to be inspired to paint something different, if that makes any sense. And so today you can decide that fuck all of this. I'm deciding on something completely different. I'm going to put myself in the state, once you do the work, provided you do the work, okay? My understanding and my assumption, I'm just going on the assumption that you want to not only manifest it, but to keep it forever, okay? And for that to happen, you really need to have a clean slate. Cannot stress this enough, clean slate. Otherwise, you're not going anywhere. You might manifest something, but again, it might just disappear. Again, you might switch realities because you might get triggered by something. You don't have a stable vibration in your new reality, and off you go back to the old reality. No. You really need to do the belief work and the emotional work in order to be completely anchored in your new reality forever, okay? Momentarily, does a fear show up? Are you human? Yes, of course. Momentarily, is there an insecurity? Yes, of course, but you know how to completely stir the ship into the right direction, gently, without freaking out and without manifesting anything undesirable. That's the entire shebang. Okay, gently, you can stir it. You still know what your demons are. You have worked on them, but you still know that once in a while something might pop up, but you know how to deal with it. And eventually, those stories will be so obsolete and so foreign to you, they will not bother you anymore. But again, chances are the dysfunction has been with you for decades. And so the change doesn't happen overnight, okay? After you spend 2 to 3 months in coaching with me, a parenthesis here, you will still need to continue to do the work that I taught you how to do it, okay? And not for nothing, but those people who have taken my advice and suggestions to heart have definitely succeeded. Those few who didn't, well, they didn't. I don't know why you wouldn't listen to a professional who clearly knows what they're doing, but some people, I don't know, whatever. But the idea is to invest in yourself, understanding how important you are, that you're the only one who can write your story and write it well. And when you couple that with the unshakable belief that whatever you say goes, that you literally don't need to affirm 10,000 times, you don't need to try hard, you don't need to do much of anything other than decide what it is you want to live, Write it down one time. Literally, this is my process now. But again, I'm nowhere near being a beginner or even intermediate. I'm well advanced in this department, especially in scripting, where I know I can write it down one time, even on an index card or in, in my scripting journal, let's just call it journal, and I can read it a couple of times. I can saturate myself with this feeling, and I know what that world and that outcome, that event, that version of person feels like. I can spend a couple of days on it, and on the third day I will get the result. That's usually how it works with me. But for you, it might take a little bit longer, okay? So work through what you need to work through. Understand it's a process and don't give up on it, because the fruits are so amazing. Once you do it once, you can do it over and over and over again. And you will look back at your old life and you will realize, I could have done this all along. I could have done this all along because there is no fiction. I can literally redesign my entire life, top to bottom. I can redesign my SP top to bottom. I can do anything I want. I can redesign my business, the kind of money I make. I can do it all in my life because that's how powerful I am. Imagine all the possibilities. Imagine what you are depriving yourself of simply because you still have not worked through what you need to work through. It will blow your mind, I swear. At some point, usually people in my coaching realize it, and it's a joy to watch this transformation, because it's as if it's not as if, it's a completely different person who's leaving my coaching now, totally set up for life, to understand how they really need to create what they really need to create. Thank you very much for listening. All the information from me again is below. Until next time. Ciao, ciao.